Did you know that you have a shadow self that is literally controlling your whole life and basically preventing you from being the person you want to be and living the life you want to live? When I first started doing shadow work, I knew nothing about this, much less how to stop it. I always felt stuck, and I could literally see myself in real time repeating the same patterns over and over. And the worst part was, I didn't know what to do about it. At my lowest, I honestly thought I was doomed to repeat the same patterns over and over for my entire life. But now, after 10 years of practicing shadow work, I've not only figured out how to overcome the shadow self, I've also learned 5 shocking secrets about your shadow self that's affecting you right now. And just a warning, once you learn these 5 secrets, your view of reality will never be the same again. So if you want to continue living in the Matrix, I recommend you click off this video now. So coming in hot, the first secret I learned from shadow work is that we are all basically NPCs. And I realized this because when you start to practice shadow work, you start to become very aware of just how unconscious most people are, myself included. I would estimate that for most people, around 70 to 95% of their days are spent in a state of unconsciousness. And when I say unconsciousness, I'm not talking about sleep, because you can be unconscious even while you're awake. Most people don't even realize that while we're not conscious of the present, our mind is basically absent, and we aren't in control of our actions. Our subconscious mind is. A perfect example of this is when we get triggered. And unless you're a saint watching this video, we've all most definitely gotten triggered multiple times before. And as we all know, in the triggered state, logic goes out the window, and you basically become an animal in a state of fight or flight. And if you really want to prove this concept to yourself, after watching this video, try spending the next 15 minutes being completely conscious and present without any distracting thoughts. And if you do have a distracting thought, try to not lose your awareness of having that thought. You'll see just how hard it is to actually stay conscious throughout these 15 minutes. And in each moment you fail at being conscious while doing this, you are in a state of unconsciousness, and you are effectively an NPC who's following subconscious programming, or in other words, a script. That's why it's so important to practice being in the moment and cultivating awareness, because the more aware you are, the more conscious control you actually have over your life. The second secret I learned is that humans are creatures of habit, and this is an extremely powerful secret to know, because if you don't know this secret, you'll never be able to recognize that the tiny, seemingly insignificant little actions you do every single day is really the difference between whether you live an amazing life or you live a terrible life. And this was something I had to learn the hard way, because before I knew this, I had a ton of bad habits that I didn't even realize I had. I was a chronic complainer, a messy individual, and just overall very pessimistic on my views in life. I had thought that I was just unlucky in life, and that I couldn't do anything about my circumstances. And this is what the world teaches us. They teach us that things that happen in our lives are not our fault, that we're just an unfortunate victim of them, that can't do anything about it. But even though I had felt like this, I still had an intense desire to want to grow, to live a great life. But like most people, I had no idea where to start. And for whatever reason, every single day, it literally felt like I had a boot to my neck that I just could not escape from, no matter what I tried, even though I knew it was there. This for me was kind of like hell, because imagine you're in a terrible situation, but at the same time you have such an intense desire to be in a different situation, but you have no idea of how to get to that different situation, much less even know if it's possible. This constant feeling of depression mixed with the desire to want to be more basically forced me to ask the only question that mattered: why? Why is this happening to me? Once I asked this question and really started to think about it, I was finally able to realize that it was me who was keeping me in that state of hell. And if I wanted to remove myself from this state, I needed to make a change. And the biggest change I could make for myself in that moment was changing the tiny, seemingly insignificant little actions I was doing every single day, because those tiny actions actually have momentum behind them. And over time, that momentum would turn them into habits. And guess what? Habits happen automatically. They happen effortlessly, and they happen unconsciously. Do you see where I'm going yet? Like I said earlier, we are basically NPCs whenever we go into states of unconsciousness. And for most people who are in states of unconsciousness 70 to 95% of the time, the programming or script in our subconscious mind that is basically running us and acting on autopilot while we're unconscious is dictated by our habits that have formed from the tiny, seemingly insignificant little actions we do every single day without thinking. So if the majority of your habits are negative, guess what? You're going to 100% live a negative life until you take the time to ask yourself why and think about it enough to the point where you become aware of those negative habits that are affecting you and replace them with positive habits. And I'm speaking from complete experience here because this is literally what I had to do. I didn't go to the doctor and take a pill to suppress my issues while fixing nothing. I didn't continue to wallow in my victim mentality like the world wants you to and tells you to do. And I didn't continue to blame others without changing anything. I figured out the source of my issues, took responsibility for them, and took steps to finally change them and overcome them. And when you understand that you are a creature of habit, you can use this very same knowledge, this very same information to overcome your issues as well by changing your habits. And if you have any brief questions, put them in the comments below. And if you're really serious and you want me to personally help you out with any of the issues you may be having in your own life, sign up for one-on-one coaching with me. Also, make sure to download my free ebook that is made to specifically help you navigate and understand the 10 secret stages of success you'll 100% be going through on the way to reaching your dreams. You can find the links to both of these in the description or the pinned comment down below. Now, the third secret I learned from practicing shadow work is that we don't actually have as much control as we think we do in our own lives. Earlier, I had said that you're basically an NPC running around on the programming that was assigned to you by happenstance whenever you're in an unconscious state, which is the majority of the time. But to go a step further, I want you to understand that you literally can go no further than your self-image, or in other words, your mindset. And what I mean by this is if in your self-image, you believe, let's say you're ugly, then it won't matter how many times someone says you're attractive, because you will automatically filter that information through as negative. If in your self-image, you believe rich people are evil, then you will unconsciously sabotage all opportunities that come to you that could possibly make you rich, unless you believe you're evil, of course. If in your self-image, you believe women only like a certain type of guy, and you're not that guy, you will only pay attention to women that reinforce this belief within yourself, and you will actually sabotage yourself from finding the woman that would actually like you as you are right now. And all of this is done unconsciously without you even realizing it. We like to think we have free will. We like to think we do what we want. And most of us probably have an idea of where we thought we'd be by now. But how many of you can honestly say you're exactly where you thought you'd be at this age? I mean, because if you're like me, I can honestly say that I am nowhere close to where I thought I'd be at this age. And if you agree with me, this just points to the fact that we're actually not really as in control of our lives as we think we are. And I say all this not to make you feel bad, because there actually is a lot of hope here. Notice how I say direct control, because from what I've learned and personally experienced, we do have some form of free will, although it's more of an indirect form of it. Because during the points of the day where we are conscious, we can actually use this time to observe our programs, see where we are messing up, and reprogram our habits and our self-image, so that moving forward, the things we end up doing unconsciously are actually things we want to do. And this is where we can actually exercise our free will. And the more we do this, the more control we actually start to have in our lives. Although my life isn't exactly where I thought I'd be at this point in time, from doing shadow work, I've actually realized that I'm exactly where I need to be at this point in time. And instead of being in the passenger seat, I now feel like I'm in the driver's seat of the vehicle that is my life. The fourth secret is about your beliefs creating your reality. With the knowledge I've given to you about the past 3 secrets, you're ready to understand this at a deeper level. If you've heard anything about the law of attraction, you've probably heard of this concept. But with the knowledge I've given you about the 3 past secrets, you're ready to understand this at a deeper level. Because not only do you now know that 70 to 95% of the time, we're in a state of unconsciousness. And while we're in a state of unconsciousness, we're basically just running on the habitualized programs that are looping again and again in our subconscious mind. These programs in our subconscious mind automatically reinforce our self-image, which causes us to selectively filter in information that supports our self-image and discard any information that opposes it. And all of this happens unconsciously. But there's still a piece that's missing here, because within your self-image, within your subconscious mind, there's not only programs of your habits, there are programs of your beliefs. And these programs are so much more powerful than your habits, because your beliefs are actually what forms your self-image. In other words, your beliefs literally create how you see and experience your reality. I said earlier that if you believe you're ugly, you will only be able to focus on information that reinforces it. Well, if you can understand that your beliefs, which form your self-image, are unconsciously influencing you every single day, just like your habits, and these beliefs, just like your habits, were formed in the past through repetition, you can now also understand that these very same beliefs can be replaced through the same process that formed them, repetition. And guess what? When you form a new belief, you create a new reality. I said earlier that I was a chronic complainer, a messy individual, and just overall pessimistic. And I still have memories of being like that. But now I'm chronically optimistic, super clean, and overall very positive in my outlook in life. And it's crazy because I still remember being in that reality before, but it feels like a dream at this point, because I can now see that I'm literally in a new reality, one that I consciously created for myself, all because I took the time to change my beliefs. And this secret is one of the most powerful secrets you'll probably ever hear, because beliefs are like unseen, invisible habits that you do in your mind without even realizing it. Beliefs are very hard to see and very hard to identify. But once you know they're there, and once you take the steps to change them, they literally change your reality automatically and effortlessly, which means your self-image changes automatically and effortlessly. So going back to the example of you being ugly, if you change your belief to you now being attractive, you will then start to automatically filter in information that reinforces your belief. And guess what? Because you're getting information that's reinforcing your belief, people will treat you as such. You will start to take new actions that make you look better automatically. Whenever you see yourself in the mirror, you will automatically view yourself as positive and attractive. And the self-fulfilling cycle will continue automatically and effortlessly without any extra effort on your part. Your beliefs are where you can experience true, lasting change. And if you don't think that's powerful, I don't know what is. And the final shocking secret I've learned after 10 years of practicing shadow work is that you and me, we're not real. And let me explain. I'm not saying that we don't exist, that what you experience and what you feel are not real. What I am saying is that who you think you currently are is a lie. I'm talking about your ego, your self-image, your beliefs, your habits, your race, whatever you identify as. You are really just a collection of programs, and you formed a personality. Off of these programs you've built up over time, and you go through life automatically reinforcing this self-image each and every day, and you create a story from it. Everything that is forming who you are right now can be changed. Your most fundamental values and perspectives can be changed, as you previously learned. And once those change, your reality and experience of it changes with it. So knowing this, who are you? Really? The answer is, you are who you decide to be. The real secret is we choose who we want to be. But when you're asleep and you're just an NPC in the Matrix, the world chooses for you. But when you finally wake up, you can start to decide who you actually want to be. And this decision doesn't have to come from any outside programs. It only needs to come from your heart, your soul, your actual, real self, which is not your ego or the programs you've been taught to believe and identify as. It's consciousness, something far greater. But that's a topic for another video. So tell me, what was the most shocking secret for you? And if you've practiced shadow work, what secrets have you learned? Also, if you're interested in learning more about your actual, real self, check out this video here.